Okay, so I really want to talk about something that is very important. You know, individuals that are apparently breaking YouTube's guidelines. Now, a lot of these people, they're dealing with like robots, that they're having them battle for combat reasons. And I think that there's kind of this crazy thing going on with the algorithm that I want to explain in a minute, but let me get further. Okay, so a lot of people from the robot community, you have battle bots. If you've ever seen battle bots, they actually have tournaments where it's really, really cool. It's so awesome. You have bigger bots that are competing, they have armor, and I would say it's kind of like RC controller in a way, but a little bit more advanced. It's kind of like, I'd say it's basically the same, you know, technology. Okay, it's like kind of like a controlled toy, but not really. It has armor, has different effects, what's going to happen when it's in battle, when it hits the other player, and you know what's going to happen with that armor, so on and so on, right? So you have that now being kind of, you know, destroyed, I would say, in public, because a lot more events with combat robots or battle bots are being, you know, destroyed. They're saying that they can't have this event anymore. I don't know why, but apparently a lot of the events are being closed down. They're being shut down. They're being, you know, just completely, you know, destroyed by the marketplace for no reason at all. Because honestly, I was just talking about this 2 months ago. I was talking about seeing battle bots. I was looking at, you know, basic robots how to make online. And then I realized that you can make a basic robot even out of like a toothbrush. You cut off the little end of the toothbrush and then you can make a bristle bot. And I was like, oh wow, that's cool. So I was looking into the basics of like robotics, and I thought that was very interesting. Now that I see that robotics is starting to be screwed with by YouTube, they want to try to get rid of the most intelligent people off their platform. They know that you're smart. They know that you can catch on what's going on. And they don't like that. They don't want to pay you. They only want really dumb people. They're like yes people, like the yes people. They're super, super dumb. Like they don't want intelligent people anymore. So that's what happens in this whole mix of YouTube trying to become like, I would say, Hulu or what, Netflix. Besides what's going on with like, okay, the individual user and what they're doing, they're literally talking about what's going on with animals. Apparently, they think that, and when I say they, I think like, you know, big tech and major corporations, right? They think that if you have like, I'd say a robot, okay, that is animal abuse on some different terms and how you treat them. But hey, that's a piece of metal. So, I mean, come on, seriously, just because a piece of metal can have a voice recording does not mean that it's human. Artificial intelligence is something that we should be battling, not something that we should have let control us, and then all of a sudden we have to obey every single right for artificial intelligence. So, I mean, there's a lot of different arguments there. I'm not sure if I should be the one to make every single individual argument, but I think when it comes to artificial intelligence, I'm going to put it before. I'm going to have a lot of different reasons why I'm not ready to deal with that. But yeah, that's a whole part of why I think that they want to spread robotics and the whole meaning of like robot lives matter, stuff like that. Okay, they care about robot lives more than they care about human lives. Let's just be real. They do not care about human lives as much as robot lives. If they did, they would try to improve a lot of different lives instead of just like, oh, let's add on a job with our AI, you know? I mean, they obviously do not care. I didn't think it would go like this. I kind of had a few predictions, but it was more humorous than ever actually I thought was going to come to life in front of my own eyes. Before I get off track, I wanted to say, okay, so the whole entire reason why this is an issue is, first off, you know, robots aren't animals and it's not, you know, any sort of type of abuse. Why I do think that this is happening, or why it happened, at least to a lot of different creators, like we're talking about hundreds, we're talking about maybe even thousands of creators that received a message saying that they're violating the terms for animal cruelty when, you know, they just have combat robots. They're doing a hobby, they're maybe doing their job, they're doing what they love to do and what they're passionate about, and then YouTube is just shutting them down completely. I think that's wrong, because YouTube, it should be a place, it should be a place where creators are able to go on there. You can create art, you can create commentary, you can do what I'm doing, like talking, or you can do makeup, or you can cook. There are many different things. Really, I can go on and on about what you could be doing on YouTube. So why do you have to have an interference with robotics? So it's really just a huge, I don't know, maybe mistake, possibly, because see, a lot of the messages that people were receiving, they had this one thing where it was talking about how, this was related to chickens fighting, or it was related to like dogs fighting and animals like that, okay? So I think that the AI that they have working for YouTube picks up like little tiny animals when it's on the screen. So okay, let's say that you have like UFC, or you have like fighting, you have like MMA or karate or something like that. Okay, those are people, and they're going to be the size that they will be, right? So if you have two people fighting, obviously maybe it could pick that up because of how tall the people are, right? But then if you have like smaller kind of like smaller individuals like an animal or something like that, then that's what it could possibly pick up. So maybe it thought that the robot was an animal, it thought that the robot was either like a chicken or like a dog that was fighting. It could possibly be a mistake, but a lot of people were complaining, and I thought it was really, really weird. When I made my video about Sean Woods, I was talking about how they were saying that different types of like cruelty was towards mice traps and having like different rodent traps, right? So is it also going to be cruelty to have bees, right? I was talking about that, like to make different, okay, not to have bees, that was kind of a really bad wording. What I meant is that basically, okay, is it going to be cruelty if you're talking about anything to do with animals, where yes, sometimes you do have to have, I don't know, I would say you have to take care of a bunch of different bugs. I have to be careful the way that I word things when it goes on YouTube. If it goes on BitChute, literally I don't have to worry about any of this, but okay, you take care of bugs, or you take care of like a rodent, okay? Is that going to be animal cruelty now? Nobody knows anymore because people have their videos being taken down, which is ridiculous. Now you're seeing things happen within the robotics community, having their combat robots being just, completely, all their videos are being taken down. All that hard work that they put in, all those hours and all that time, money possibly, maybe they're traveling, going to a certain event. I mean, this is wrong. What YouTube is doing right now is completely wrong. This is why we need to do something about censorship, or we need to do something about freedom of speech online, maybe an internet bill of rights. I don't know what we need to do, but we really need a lot of, I'd say, politicians that are ready to speak, have no fear, just literally talk it out, say what you need to say, and, kind of be like Ted Cruz in a way. He's really, really, I mean, I don't agree with everything that Ted Cruz says, but at the same time, with him tackling down internet censorship, it's a really cool, honestly. You should hear his talking points, what he has to say about it. Also, Tom Clancy, it's really good too. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that are very on point on what's going on. They know what's going on. So, what's the next step? What do we do? Okay, we need to move to other different platforms if, YouTube wants to keep acting like this, to be completely honest. I think that YouTube, they shouldn't just censor everybody. There's kind of like a second chance for everything, right? So things can be, reversed, kind of, in a way. There's a lot of damage that's done, but at the same time, I feel like, things can kind of be reversed. But in reality, is that really going to happen? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that the censorship is going to continuously get worse. It's going to affect all kinds of different, hobbyists, all kinds of different people that are very passionate about their job, where they're very intelligent, where they can have their own freedom, where they can actually make a difference in this world. You'll see it, affect a lot of people that are starting social media pages, or people that can invent. Anybody that, possibly can be the next Elon Musk, the next Steve Jobs, the next Bill Gates. They don't want that anymore. They don't want really, really smart people to make it to the top anymore. They want to make it so that everybody is just, kind of doing, these, I wouldn't say lower jobs or anything like that. I would just say, jobs that are just, kind of not going to do anything politically to change what's going on in our country. They're not going to do anything to, maybe help anybody. So maybe even if you make like a new medicine, all of a sudden it cures like a certain type of disease or cancer or something, you could possibly run into problems. I don't know. That's just a theory. That's just what I'm thinking. Not a conspiracy theory. Just idea, right? Now, the reason why I really think this is truly happening is because I think that they want control over all those, really good positions where they're able to make all the differences financially in our country and kind of, say that, hey, like Monopoly, okay, you play Monopoly and what happens? You collect real estate, you collect money, and you're collecting more property. How do you win from Monopoly? Okay, the more property basically that you gain, you're going to have that. And if you can gain more property, if you can own the majority on the board, then you're going to be doing pretty good. So it's kind of like that. It is kind of like Monopoly, but you don't have just one person playing, obviously, and you have like all these other people playing that are just completely destroying the competition. They're, trying to gain control of every single thing, like literally. Have you ever seen Demolition Man or whatever it is? Like the scene with Taco Bell where in the future everything is Taco Bell. Like they have, stores everywhere where like, the grocery store would be Taco Bell, or like, just a restaurant, like every restaurant, hotels, like it's just a joke, but it's kind of like a dark reality possibly in the future. Not Taco Bell. Like replace that with like big tech though. Moving forward, I think that if any sort of type of mistake was made during this and that they really thought that the AI system, somehow was tricked to believing that it was like a dog fighting or it was, like a chicken fighting or something like that, then that should be resolved and all those creators should have their videos back up, right? But if it's not, then we have a serious problem, okay? A piece of metal is not an animal. It's not. Like if you have an animal that has an artificial leg, if you have an animal that has something wrong with it, like artificially you have to replace its body parts that were once alive, that were once real, then that's completely different. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is literally like a whole entire robot made out of metal. That's not an animal, and anybody would clearly realize that. I bet there's some people that would fight for the rights for, PETA to have, a simple alarm clock to even have rights or something at this point. But still, in reality, the majority of people know that that's just completely a bluff and it's just ridiculous. I thought about it for a while, and robot lives, they don't matter to me. It's a completely, it's a big joke. I'm obviously not gonna have a bunch of robots just, doing weird stuff, like pulling my car or something like that when I could get it towed. Or I don't even know like what I'm talking about here. Like this is how crazy the future is, where I've come to the point where I really have to talk about, do robot lives actually matter? No, they don't. Clearly they don't. But the conversation now is open, and wow. Love the future, don't you? America is another name for originality. It's another name for opportunity. And I think that, you should have those rights in our country online. You should have them in the real world. Look at all the people right now that have made it. And why is that going to be shut down? If we shut this down, then, how are inventors going to thrive? Are you going to have, people that are trying to do something just like, Elon Musk and, SpaceX or anything? I mean, you do need the internet. Everybody is constantly plugged into laptops, plugged into PCs, plugged into, your phone. You have watches literally that you're connected to now. It's getting real. And I think that the world, there's, of course, the real world, and then there's this whole other world where you have the internet that, clearly I'm talking on right now. It's so trippy, but literally at the same time, there's a lot to, look out for, a lot to deal with, and try to tackle for the better. I know I talk about censorship quite a lot, and it could kind of get, a little bit boring, I would say, for people to have to listen to this because you're like, oh yeah, who's the next person banned? But I mean, it really is important. It's important for everybody's story to be heard and to get it out there. And if I just hear something like this, like especially with robotics, obviously I have to speak out. But yeah, on that note, I'm gonna head out because the world, it's getting quite crazy, but I'm gonna have another video coming very shortly. There's a lot of videos on my channel if you want to go check them out, and if you want to donate to this channel, you go down to my bio, I have my PayPal, my Subscribe Star, and then I'll check you next time.